Okay. Hello everyone. Good morning. So before we start, any questions, any doubts? What we have discussed so far about Appian, their objects type. No? Okay. So I think there was a task to think about the data model. So anyone has done that?
Hey Harsha, I'm Sham.
Hey Shyam, hi. This is
Yeah,
Ravi.
hi.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't joined last two classes, and yesterday I haven't joined it.
Okay.
And this is my technically this is my first class.
Okay.
Uh, I don't know what happened before, but
Okay. No, we basically discussed about, first class was the demo. We talk about what Appian is, what kind of project it needed, it creates, what is the coding standard, how the Appian demand in the market, all those things. Basically
mm,
about the Appian. And then second class, we discuss about the objects that we have in Appian, which we create to build an application. I think we have filtered the call. We can ask to share those two classes recordings with you. Okay.
yeah. She shared this. Yeah, I'll take a look.
All right. And then I asked for to think about. So we were thinking to build an application around insurance. Let's say Mediclaim. So that's what I asked to think about the data model. What could be the data model? What are the tables will be required, and then to start building. Hey, Mallikarjun. So yeah,
Oh,
anyone done that? Anyone has thought about the data model? Come on, guys. For the first task, no.
Uh, yeah, Ravi, maybe like we need to have majorly two tables. One
Mm-hmm.
maybe like claim, and second one maybe like insurer or customer details, something like.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Have you created any data model like in Excel as I asked? Have you created any columns and all? No. Okay.
No, really.
All right. No problem. We can think about it and then we can create it. So first of all, we need a table, right, for the maybe the insurer, or as you said, as a customer, right, for whom we want to raise a claim request, right? So that first of all, in any application you go, we need a people, who has a table, right? So we'll think about that data model now. All right, before going to data model now, let's create an application so that we can have everything at one place. So we build an application. Let me share my screen. Everyone has their app in. And Sham, I think you aware of the Appian and the
no,
practice environment? No? All
no.
right. Um, you need to create your credentials on Appian community, okay, and then request for a practice environment. And if you are working with an organization, make sure you use your organization's email ID so that you may get it faster as a practice environment to for practice. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
If you don't have the link, let me give it to you in the message right away. Community.appian.com. So register yourself here and then request for your practice environment. There you go. I put it in the message. Okay. So when I was talking, meanwhile, you can do that. All right. Hope you guys can see my screen. So as I said, this is the designer window for the developers, right? Where we will be creating our application. So anyone thought of any name? Let's go with the Mediclaim application, right? Now you see that whenever you create a new application, it whatever name you given, right, it automatically takes a prefix, right? What is the meaning of prefix? Prefix is that your sort, whatever object we will be creating in our application within our application, those will be get started with my prefix name. So why prefix is important? Let's say there could be a very common name, right? Let's say you want to create a rule called get customer details, right? Now, get customer details may have, it's a very common that everyone can have this name, right? So by looking itself, how do we know that which one is your rule? So that we should be using um, a prefix to that so that it can tell you, okay, you know what, this is what is your rule. Now, what happens if I try to use any existing prefix? If you try to use any existing prefix, then it will give you a message that this application prefix is already in use. So that Appian suggests that you should always go with your unique prefix. Okay, clear?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right. Now we have description. So it's not a mandatory field. If anything in Appian is mandatory, you can see a star mark there. But if anything is not mandatory, you won't see anything, any star mark. We can put a message here. So we can say this application will process the mediclaim request. Right. Now you can see there's a checkbox, generate groups and folders to secure the organized objects. If you don't check this checkbox, Appian will not create anything inside your application. However, if you go and click this checkbox, Appian, for your help, it will automatically create 7 objects. Okay. So we'll see what are the 7 objects. We have already talked about the objects there yesterday class. Now we'll see what are the 7 objects are going to be created. So I'll go with this option, check this checkbox, I'll say create. Now, once you see that, right, um, once you see that, it says that there are 2 objects. You can see MA administrator 13 and MA users 13. So why this 13 is coming up, I'll tell you. Let me, you know what, there's an Appian suggesting because it's a very common application that someone might have created it with the MA administrator already 12 times. So that's why it's bringing the 13. So anyways, so what it does is basically it creates 2 groups here. You see user and group. So MA administrator group and the all users group. Administrator group, it gives the admin role. That admin role can do anything. They can add the data, edit the data, delete the data, whatever. And then it also creates the viewer role as an MA user. So MA user viewer role, all the end users who is going to use our application will be inside this group. Okay, all the general user who's gonna use the application. And any specific user who need an admin role, we can put into the administrator group. Okay. So this security is by default Appian is setting it for us. I just hit the save button. Right. Now, once you create that, we will be inside our applications. If you have anything prefix, predefined that what you want to go, you can have it here. It will give you some example. Otherwise, we can go to the build option. Inside the build option, we can see that there are 7 objects has been created with the name of all the given name here, starting with the MA. Okay, MA users. These are the 2 groups. Then we have 4 folders. Basically, all are the folders, but out of this one, you can see the blue one is called process model folder. It means that whatever process model we will be creating inside our application, those will be residing inside this folder. And then we have this last one, you can see the rule folder, right? The rule folder is for all the expression rules, interface rules, constants. So if you want to use the same folder for all those other objects, you can use it. Otherwise, if you want to use, let's see, if you want to create a separate folder for constant, then you can go and you can create one more folder as a rule folder and name as for the constants. Okay. And then we have knowledge center. So this knowledge center, as we discussed yesterday, knowledge center is kind of top repository which will include all the document folders within it. So if you click on this knowledge center, you will see that these two document folders are inside here. Okay. So all the documents that we need to create will be holding inside these two document folders. Now, is it like you cannot create more? No, you can create more. Let's say I want to create a new folder, and I'm going to create a folder as a rule folder. And I give the name as constant. And we can have this folder will hold constants. And I'll say create. If we do that, one more role folder will be, and you see that this group's security has been applied already. So one more rule folder will get created as a MA constant, and then it will hold all the constants. If you want to use the same one, you can use the same one as well. Okay, so you can go and create multiple folders as per your. But for your easiness, that checkbox while creating the application, if you have that checkbox checked, it will create these 7 objects for you. Clear? Any question?
Maybe there was an option to select the parent folder.
Right. So let's say if I want to create a folder, let's say expression, right? Hold expression rules. And I want to use this folder not directly inside the application, but I want it to be available inside my parent folder. So I can use MA rules and constant 10. So what will happen? This folder will get created, but it will get created inside this one. So let's say I click on create. If I go inside this rules and constant, now it is there. Now, what if I want, can I make the change now? If I want to get this one as properties, no, it doesn't allow no to move it. I think it can. No, it doesn't allow. So this one is now, yeah, destination rule folder. So it's MA rules and constant 10, right? Yeah, this one, move. If I do like that, then this folder is now going to have two folders, constant and expression rules. Okay. So you can have different folders, and we can have also create a repository kind of folders. Okay. Any questions?
Yes.
Let's say whatever name you have given to your application, if you want to make some changes, go to the setting icon and click on the application properties. You will see that this is the thing that we decided there, and then we have all these options, right? Now, Appian suggests something. Appian says that, because we are using a very shared environment, it's India instance, so that it mentioned that, please prefix new apps with your workspace ID. So they have assigned a one workspace ID to me. So they're asking, can you please create all the objects with your workspace ID? So what I'm going to do is inside our application, I go here and properties, I will also use my workspace ID to understand that these are for my application. Okay. So that changes. So now what happens? Whatever objects we will start creating now, that will start with my workspace. Let's say I want to create new folder. Right? You see, it's having with my workspace ID. Okay. So workspace ID is basically they have assigned for in Appian environment to individually everyone because it's a shared environment. Okay. Any question till here, guys? What's the application properties and the naming convention and all?
No, Ravi.
Great. Okay. So now we discussed about that we will have a Mediclaim application where user can go and start Mediclaim process. But for that we need a user for whom you want to create the Mediclaim process, right? So we need the customer tables, right? Who are the customers for whom we need to raise a claim? As I said again, Appian applications are not built for like general public, right? Because you may have to end up creating lot of credentials. So this is for the in-house employees, right? So let's say I am working as an in-house employee for a Mediclaim service provider. You sent me a request via through email or maybe some you called me. You know what? I need this claim process to be done. Then I am the user as a person working for my company. I need to make that entry, right? So keep in mind that not as a user that I need a claim, so I cannot go and do it. I can create build an application, but that's not a fit case for Appian, right? Appian only it creates application for the in-house employees. Okay. All right. So let's say you called me and say, you know what, I need a claim to be raised. What is the first thing I need to look for? In general, what happens whenever you call to a service provider? What they ask? Let's say when you call, what is the first thing they ask usually?
Yeah, what is the policy ID?
No, yeah, could be, but yeah, before that they want to confirm you, right, as a user,
Yeah,
as a customer. Can you please confirm
names.
your write your name or maybe mobile number, or, whatsoever,
Yes, yes,
right?
yes.
So I need a place where I can go and search for you, right? Based on your input details, I can verify, okay, yeah, you are the user. Then I can go for the raising a claim, right? So we need a customer information first of all, right? So we need a table. So what we can do, we can, let's say I don't know how to create a table. Now what will happen? How do I get that done? So we go to the new and say new record type, right? I'll just give the customers, right? The uh, customers record for Mediclaim process, Mediclaim application, right? So this is the name of the record that I am going to create, right? I hit create button. So what we are going to create, we are going to create a record. It has a security, the same user as a viewer role and admin as an administrator role. It's same. Now this is the record window. Now it says that please let's get started and tell me about your data, where you have your data. So now in Appian we have multiple types of records. Once you click on this, tell us about your data, then you will know that there are four types of record that we have: database, processes, Salesforce, and web services. What does it mean? It means that different types mean different source type. So first source of my data could be database, that I want to bring my data from database. So there are two database can be there. One, Appian in-house database, or the third party database that you might be using like Oracle, SQL Server, all those databases. If you are using that, you can integrate that database directly and you can link it here. You do not have to create a web service for that. Database can be combined directly in your Appian environment from the admin console. So if you want to bring your information from any database table, you can select this source type as a database. Second is the processes. Whatever the running process instance we have in Appian, right? So if you want to bring the details from those process instances, you can select the source type as a process. Third, if you have your information in the Salesforce, let's say Salesforce is already having their database customer tables there, and you have the required information to get connect with the Salesforce, you can connect it here and you can bring your data from the third party. So you do not have to create it in your within your database. You can use, then you can update, and whatever you can do that from there. And fourth is a web service, which is broadly given you an option to have the information from anywhere from the world by using an API service call. You can connect with any third party. Obviously, you need information from them, the required URL, and then API keys or maybe authentication mechanism, whatever they have scheduled it, and then you can get the data from there, right? So in our case, we are going to have database as a type, but right now I do not have my database created. I do not have my table created. So I will go with this option that I want to go from the scratch. So it will allow you to create a table behind, behind the overflow and link it here. And we will not have to write a single line of code as of now. You will see that. Okay, so I go with the scratch option because the table is not with me. I hit next. Right? It says build with data fabric. Yeah, as I said, right? Data fabric is the newly concept. People may get confused. They are saying, "Oh, what's the data fabric is?" It's nothing, guys. It's just you allowing the record to connect with the different sources and bring the information in. So that's a data fabric. Yes, I will go with the data fabric so I can use the relationship feature. Now, once you hit next button, by default, they are giving you 5 column attributes: ID, created by, created on, modified by, and modified on. As usually, we used to have this table, right? This column in every table. Okay, so we have this ID as a number integer, and they have also marked this as a primary key. Right. Now, I need few more columns. Let's say I need first name, middle name, last name, date of birth, email. What else is active? Anything else? Age. I mean, we can calculate the age by based on date of birth, so that's fine. But yeah, let's have a age. What is
Name.
that's we said, no? First, middle, last. So let's go with the 7 columns now. I'll add. I will go with the first name. That should be a text. Middle name. That should be a text. Then last name, email, date of birth. Now date of birth needs to be date. Age needs to be number. Is active. It should be Boolean. Right. So we are going to have to create a table with all these details. Any questions so far?
No, no.
Okay, just give me 1 second, guys. Very good. All right. So these we are going to, obviously, if you think about some other columns later, we can go and add it, not an issue. But now we are going to have this column. So I hit next button. Once we go hit the next button, this Appian is also trying to look for some other table in the backend and then try to add the relationship. For now, I simply go and remove this. I don't want to be here because I will show you how to do it from the scratch. So I don't add any relationship. I hit next. Right now, you see there is a option called create table. Checkbox is there, right? And preview the database script. If you want to preview the database script, you can click on that. It will download the create statement of your table. I hit the save changes. Right now it's done. Again, if you want to download your database script, you check this checkbox and it will allow download and then say close. It's creating a table. Now your record is ready. Your record is ready. Now is that table is get created inside the database? Let's verify. Go to the cloud database here, my workflow ID, and then we need to search it here. I think this is the table. So my table gets created inside the database. I didn't write any code. I didn't write the table structure. I didn't came to database to write the table, build the table, right? Is that clear? Any question? Any doubt?
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. Oh, come on. All right. Now, as we have this record ready for us, do I need to design a workflow, right? We need to design a workflow to add the customer details to the system. Right now, record is blank. Nothing is there. No information is there. It's a blank information. If I want to show you that, just click on this icon. It will open this record in the tempo page for purpose. You see that it's blank. Now, what information comes when we create the record? What are the things comes with the by default that we do not have to write a code for this? Default search, download feature, filters, refresh, columns. All these informations comes with the by default, and we haven't write a single code for this one. As of now, we haven't written single code. Now, what is the next thing we need? We need an access for a user so that they can go and they can create a new customer details into the system, right?
Yes.
Guys, it's a request, please be interactive. It's not like I'm doing some promotion and just here and go. Please make it interactive. Why don't you guys are asking any questions? What's happening, what is happening, where the mapping has been done, what are these options we have? Please do ask. Okay. All right. So we need to allow a user to have some details into the system. So now we can see this is a data model tab we have. We are in data model tab. We have all these fields that we created by using from scratch by using creating a table and all. Now we need to go to the tab called actions. Now it says either you can go and create everything manually and you can link it here, or Appian is also gives you a way of doing everything. So it says generate the record action. Three options they gave you. They gave you create, update, and delete. Let's say if I go here, let me show you. Right now we have how many? 10 objects, right? Created. Now
Yes.
let's say I want to go with all the three options, or maybe let's say if you want to go with only create option. So we can see one by one. Let's say I want to go with the create option. I'll say generate. Right. You see that it has configured the actions and done everything here. It created a name as with new customer, and then if you go back here, inside the designer object, you refresh this page. Now it has 13 items now. So what it does, it created a new interface, a new process model for us, right? So
Okay.
it creates, yeah, go ahead.
No, no, nothing. Yeah,
Okay.
good.
So see, we will see how do we create everything by, from the scratch as,
Sir, I have a question.
yeah, go ahead.
Like when we click on this create button, what is the use of it? Like what is the like what it will create for that record type customer?
That's what I'm
We
showing.
can keep on adding records or
Yeah, I'll show you what it has created. So it created in the backend, it automatically created some interface for you. It created a process model for you. Now what it will allow you to do. So let's see if I go to my refresh and refresh this page now, you can see now a new customer link here. Now what happens if I click on this new customer, you can also see an interface for you. Nice and clean interface they have created. This design it has Appian has created for you. Now let's say I'm going to put some entry here. Right? I hit create. Do you see that? As soon as I hit new customer, I see an interface, and once I hit submit, I get this detail. Now what happened in the database? Entry is here. Did I rewrite any line of code, single code?
no.
No.
Right? Now, everything is done by Appian itself. It created the
And
actions for us. Yeah.
process images were created, right? How that will work for this?
What has created?
One is interface and one more process instance, I mean process
Process
model got
model.
created.
Right.
Uh, so how that will work, how that will trigger when this record got created.
So you see this one, right? When we click on the generate the record action, it created the process model for us. It created the interface for us, and it configured that process model here. Everything is done by Appian,
Okay.
right? And that interface is part of this process model. You can have a look. So this process model was get created by Appian, and it has that interface there. So if you see, this process model was get created, and they configure the interface in the start node, and they also have a right to record smart service. So it, when we click on the new customer link, it started this process model in behind the scene, display you this interface. When you hit submit, with all those information, it uses this right to record smart service to write the data to the database. If you want to see here, if you go to the monitor mode, you will see one instance has triggered here. See, create customer Rahul,
Okay.
and this is the instance. So
Got
without
it.
writing any code, we created this process model, we created this interface, and then everything is done. Now, is that we will have to live with this interface? No, you can always go and make changes. That's what the beauty of Appian is. Let's say I'm going to click on cancel. What happened if I click on cancel? Nothing has happened. If I go here and refresh this, you'll see another instance. It says cancelled, and it taken this path. Because when I click on cancel, I don't want to write anything on the database. So it uses this path and cancel it. Right? So don't worry, we will be creating process model from the scratch. We will be creating this interface from the scratch. We will be doing those things, but just to let you know that without having any code, Appian can give it a lot of things to you that you can start with. Now let's say for example, I have this record with me, right? Now the customer that called me, he said, hey, my name is Rahul. I want to raise a claim for me, right? I need to have some certain details. Now, let's imagine you have multiple records here. You can say, okay, can you please confirm with your name? I say Rahul. Okay, so Rahul, okay, we have 10 Rahuls here. Can you please confirm your email address? Can you please confirm your mobile number? Can you please confirm your date of birth? Right now, we know that, okay, this particular customer needs to raise a claim. We can select this customer, open that information, and then we can have another action taken here that, hey, no, raise a claim. So that's how Appian works in terms of you can need to find IP plan, all right, and you can custom, do all those requirements here. Any questions so far?
Nothing.
Okay. Now, once I click on this link, right, there should be a question. What is this link is about? How it is coming as a link? And where, most important, where all this configuration is there that I'm able to see it here. What if I don't want to display this modified column? What if I don't want to display this created column? What if I want to display is active as something else? What if I want to format my DOB? What if I want to change the label DOB as a capital? Where you will go and do all those settings?
Inside lists of record.
Yeah, but you know that, right? That's why you have worked with this before, but it should be come from other side who haven't worked on this one. All right. So all this configuration that you are seeing it here are inside the record itself. So inside the record, you see there's an option called list. This list has the configuration for your table that you are seeing it here. So once I go and say edit the list, you will see all the column that you are seeing on the UI. It's here. Now let's say I don't want to go with the modified column. I can simply select and remove this column. I don't want to go with the created add column. I can remove that as well. Now for DOB, I want the label to be in capital. So let's say I just click that and say DOB. Right. Now, how come this is a link, not the other fields? So Appian by default provide a link to your primary key so that if you want to have a detailed information of that particular customer, you can click on that and you can open a summary page. And in the summary page, you can show all those, if it had multiple, see, let's say for your table has 30 column or 40 columns, all the columns will not be fitted here, right? So you only display the required column and then all other details you can display on the summary page. Okay? So what this link is, how it has configured as a link. To configure this as a link, Appian has created a record link function so that you can click on that and open a record summary page. Now, is that this grid that you are seeing it here doesn't have any code? No, it has a code behind it. If you click on this small tiny expression editor icon, you will be able to see the code behind this. So it has one column for ID, one column first name, middle name, last name. See, for each column, they have a function, grid column is used. Again, I will say not to get panic. How I will understand this code, we will create by this from the scratch for sure. It's just for now, I'm just explaining this get created by Appian itself. Okay, so they are using a record link function to display that as a link, and when you click on it, it will open a summary page for you. Right? I hit the OK and hit the save changes because we made some changes to this object, so I need to click on the save changes. Now, if I click on the save changes, once it is being saved, if I go here and refresh this page, now those two columns are gone, modified and created it. Right? So now if I clicking on this one, I'm getting a summary but blank, nothing is there. Do I need to create it, design it from my own? You can go and do that. But let's say if you want Appian to do that, you go inside views. and say, you know what, generate a record. You can configure the view manually. In that case, you will have to design the interface, right? But here I say, you know what, generate the record for me. For customer table, yes, next. View name should be summary. By default, summary page first the summary page. You can have it, hit next. Right. What it says, interface. The interface used for your record view is this one. And it says we capture that inside this folder. Okay, fine. Generate the view. So it's a one new object, one is done. If you go to the your application build, one more object has been created as called customer summary, and it has also configured it in the summary tab. Just save the changes, go back to your customer record, and now if you click on this is the customer detail that has the UI has been created by Appian itself. Right? Any question so far?
Yeah, Ravi, when we created this record, by default the process model got created. So if we do any change in the record, do we need to make any changes in process model?
If you have such requirement, then you need to do that. But when we create this record, that time the process model was uncreated. When we created the action, that time the process model was got created.
Yeah.
And if you need to change anything in your process model, you can do that in the process model directly. That process model gets created through the record, but you can do the customization, and that we have linked it here. So if you do it manually, you have to create the process model manually, and you have to do the configuration here. Right?
Yes.
So now you see that we are able to create a customer record, and we are also able to see this record summary page with the details in a summary. Now let's say as a user, I search for this customer, then I say, okay, yeah, this is the details, I find it. Maybe in future we will have its linked claims that it has, and then history of the claim, and then we can have an action here saying that, you know what, for this customer, raise a new claim, right? So we can have a button here where you can go and raise a new claim. That's the future thing. But any question till here so far, what we discussed? And that is the beauty of Appian, guys. We haven't write a single line of code, but many things are with us now.
This is only with record, right?
Only with record. I mean, we can do. What do you mean by this is? So
No, means with CDD, we have to do it
no,
manually.
you can't. That's what the Appian says. You can't do all the things with the CDT. CDT is just a structure.
Yes.
CDT is just a structure that doesn't give you any data preview, view things, and it's just a structure as a container to hold multiple fields in one place. That's all. You can't do all the things with the CDT and data store.
Yes. And one more thing, while creating a record, we've seen the type of record. One was database, service, and web service.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the difference between yesterday we have seen the connected system and integration?
Right.
What's the difference between that
So
connection?
that's what, if you have any connected system and integration has built already, you can use the same to configure within the web service. If you don't have it, then Appian will build it for you through that option. So you can bring the data from there. See, connected system and web services integrations are there. They will bring the data in your raw format, in the JSON format maybe, or the Appian format maybe, right? But if you do through the record, you will have all these options, like take an action on that, have a view representation of the view, how it will look like, and update and all those things. You can do that. Integration and connected system is just to connect and bring the data in JSON or Appian format. That's all.
And there we don't have to use the connected system, right?
No, if
If we
it
create
is
a record.
required, then Appian will build it.
Okay.
Right? There will be an option of saying that okay, what's the connector system? If you have existing connector system or not. If you have it, then use the one.
Okay. Got it.
So Ravi, I have a doubt.
Mm-hmm.
So for now, you created some columns, so you added summary page and it created this. So in future,
Mm-hmm.
if we add a few more columns, will it automatically create the summary for all the columns, or we have to do it manually again?
Now, in that case, you have to do it manually
Okay.
because you have updated it, right? You are customizing your code now, and this
Yeah.
object is being get created already. Otherwise, what will happen? You have to drop this existing code and you have to recreate a new one, which is not a good idea in Appian to do. So you need to go and you have to do it manually then.
Can you please show me once if we add a new column, how to do that?
Yeah, sure. So let's say I go to the data model and then modify source field. I want to have a new field, let's say after email. I just add one more field, add say add. I had mobile number as a text because I may need the +91 and all. I say update table. Yes, I want an update table. Save the changes. Close it. And I see that mobile has been added here. If you go to the map record fields, mobile has been added here as well. If you go to the database, mobile is being added here as well. Okay, but if you go to the here to the customer record and say new customer, we don't have mobiles because this interface object has been created. So what you need to do now, you need to go and add that mobile field manually to the interface that was created. Okay,
Okay, but how to do that manually again?
so we'll come to that. We'll come to that. Now let's see that. Because if I show you the fields now, this is the create customer form, right? I open this interface. I go to the expression mode, and then we have to see the all the code that we have it here. Now let's say after the mobile number, after the email, we need to have mobile. I can copy this text field, paste it here, change the name to mobile, and then the record field, we need to change the field as mobile, same as the save into, right? Character limit, I'll say 15. Save the changes. Now once we save the changes, if we go to the customer record now, if I click on the new customer, you see that mobile field.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, is it possible to add mobile number to Rahul's column?
For that, you need to update it. and then you need a column here, right? Because the column was get created when we initially designed it. So if you want to add the column, you tell me now. If I want to display that column, where I need to go?
In views, I think.
No,
In list.
we need to go inside the list, edit the list, and then
Add
add a
column.
column. I'll take this to top. Let's say I want have to be after the email. I can drag it after email. I see the small icon here. Click on that. A mobile. Short field will be mobile. It configure the display value as a mobile. Okay, it's being added here. Save the changes. If you go and refresh this record, it's there. But it doesn't have value because when we created, it doesn't have the mobile field. Right?
Yeah.
Good. Any other questions, guys?
So here we don't create any relationship.
We haven't created the relationship yet. We'll do it now. We'll see that relationship example for sure, but right now we haven't created any relationship.
Okay. So what if you're migrating the table from your database or Oracle database? And
You can directly connect with your Oracle database, right? You don't need to migrate it here. That's what Appian says. If you have your data residing somewhere else, you just connect with your database and you bring your information from there. Why you need to migrate and bring the data here?
okay.
You can work with your existing database. You don't have to migrate everything. I can bring the information from your database. I can take action on that. I can update it, right? Obviously, we need authentications for that. But yes, we don't have to migrate the data to your Appian database for doing all those things.
I mean, do we need to raise separate requests or something like that, or unless you have some access?
Yeah, I mean, someone will give you, right? From Appian architect, an architect will get do all those configurations is required in the admin console. So you don't have to worry about it. You will see which database you have to, hit and then bring the information. So let me see this data model. Setting. You see this
Oh, okay.
source and all, right? You can change your source from default database to your Oracle or SQL Server, whatever you have. Right?
Yeah.
So if you want to create a record from your data source, you can create a record from that particular data source. So whenever you add a new database to your Appian environment, you establish a connection with your Oracle or SQL Server. That data source will be start listing in all the places. If you want to create a record with the existing database and existing data source, you will able to see that list. You select that, then it will be able to see all those tables that your database has.
Okay.
Right? Good. Any other questions before I stop sharing? Right? Then practice for this. Create all your, the whatever objects we have done so far. So create those objects. See how do we have this summary page, new action, record, table. We did a lot of things today, but we haven't tried a single line of code. Yes, we did one coding, small coding to add a mobile field to the interface, but apart from that, nothing. So that's what Appian is enhancing a lot. It allows you to create the objects very quickly and also allows you to do the customizations whenever you want it. So practice it. Let us know if you have any questions. Make sure you enroll by Monday so that whatever communication we are going to have on the group. I see right now Swapnil, Rahul, and yeah, other members too. So please make sure you enroll. If you want to we continue with this course, so enroll to the training, and then Monday onwards we'll continue the classes. Saturday, Sunday, no classes.
Sure,
Any
Ravi.
questions, guys? Sorry, what's that? I didn't get it.
No, sure.
Okay, all right. Yeah, thanks. Any more questions, guys? Shall I stop recording?
Yeah, Ravi, related to this certification, you
Mhm.
prefer to use the company email ID or
You should use your company email address, because that will be recognizable. If you use a company email address, and people will validate that. Otherwise, if you use a personal, uh, quite with there could be a question. So I will suggest go with it because that will also give you proof that you are with some organization. So go with your company email address.
okay, okay, and it will transfer, like for example, from moving one company to another,
Yeah, it will
the
get
certification.
transferred. Yeah, you need to raise a request and it will get transferred. Yeah,
Oh,
sure, Mallikarjun. Thank you. Yeah. All right. Yeah, it gets transferred. Whenever you switch your organization, it gets transferred.
okay, thanks.
All right. All right, guys. Thank you for joining today. We'll connect on Monday. Have a great weekend. Thank you.
Thank you, Ravi.
Thank you.